Game number 2, Rival. Fantastic at adapting, no pun intended. We'll see if they're able to come through and score in game number 2. They do have the choice this time, so we'll see them opt for the first pick, first ban one more time. Do we expect to see them go for the Chernobog again?
Only if they ban Giannis. I think that Giannis is still the pick that you have to worry about the most between these two sides. Anytime you've got a mid laner of Yammyn's caliber and a mid laner of Wlfy's caliber, Giannis is going to be a prioritization and will turn games and do things that even Chernobog can't do. I think that Rival will either ban it or pick up that Giannis for themselves.
Yeah, I'm happy that you specified with these two teams because Giannis is, it's going to be banned out by Energy here, most notably, because I think I think Energy understands fool me once, not twice, right?
Right.
So Energy might be able to, there it is, watch the opponent grab the Chernobog. Giannis is just a character that I think his value is exponentially boosted by the experience of the players. You noted how many columns and portals you found with Yammyn's ultimate, and that's something that both of these mid laners are going to be able to do sort of ad nauseum. So Serqet being answered, as well as Cerberus will be the choices for Energy.
So the same two picks for both Cerberus and Chernobog, but the Serqet ban was what happened in game 1. That's where Energy took the Giannis. So just trading out those bans in this game 2. I think that this does heavily favor Rival, though, to get rid of that Giannis. If that's any other mid laner, I don't think Energy come back and win that game. I feel like that's a Giannis exclusive win for Energy in that spot, and I feel like Rival's likely feeling much better about their first 3 picks just because they don't have to worry about the other side having Giannis. Now, instead of going for Mercury Athena like they did in game 1, Rival go for Poseidon Athena, really prioritizing the Poseidon, which was banned away in game number 1 as a way to deal with Serqet. I don't know how much I like it. I think that Ice's Mercury has been so good that it feels weird to me to put him on a different pick.
I think Mercury can be Mercury versus Serqet's one of those whoever gets there first kind of has the upper hand. Right. If Merc can wrap up the Serqet, but I think adapting's okay at Serqet and might be able to get the Cobra's kiss in between. So I don't mind going for the Athena Poseidon. I think both of those characters can kind of disrupt what she brings. Of course, Energy going to ban out the Mercury.
Yep.
And of course, Rival going to ban out
the Chiron.
The Chiron, of course.
I mean, it's great against Athena.
Of course.
It's really, I think this is a very smart ban by Rival to get rid of that. It deals with Athena taunt so well. Chulainn for Deathwalker for sure. I think there's going to be a Ratatosker selection here for Rival. Still brings that early disruption. You really like it in the jungle. But Athena jungle, Khepri support. Interesting. Okay. I like this a lot as well. I think Khepri can do very well against Serqet because that last breath is going to kill someone. It's an easy Scarab's Blessing in order to save them. I think this composition is actually very smart.
Are you sure it's an Athena jungle and not a Chulainn jungle?
Yes. I would be willing to put a lot of gems on the line, and that is Athena jungle.
I love how you say gems, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Khepri, Kalas has looked so good on the Khepri as of late. He's been playing it quite a bit. I have they'd be crazy to not give Deathwalker the Chulainn. I think this is very clearly cut and dry Athena jungle.
Yeah, I really like this draft from Rival. I think it's definitely a step above what they brought, at least in game number 1. Ice has played the Athena before. We got the Caprese Salad as well. Rival Energy, are we going to a game 3?
Yeah, it's Rival Energy. Of course we're going to game 3.
That's exactly how I feel. Hindu, make it rain.
Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, this is going to be a good one between these two yet again. Chernobog for round 2. He's currently 0% win ratio in the SPL.
Well, we'll see what happens in game number 2, because I don't think Chernobog is the reason why Rival lost necessarily. They are prioritizing it. It's had some success where it caught out Yammyn that one time during the split push. It makes Energy have to play a little bit awkwardly at the early stages. That level 5 play, the level 8 play where he rotated Vote on the right side of the map, finding those picks onto maniaKK or adapting is what allowed Rival to kind of get some early momentum. So I still like the first pick prioritization.
Who do you guys at home think will win this game? It was a very close vote between you first game. I think it's probably going to stay that way with how that last game went.
It definitely could be, but Energy are looking to be on the up and up recently. They have not lost a set except to Obey. They lost 2 sets to Obey Alliance, but ever since then, they just seem to have everyone else's number, and they beat out Rival previously 2-0 in that week 2 performance, and I'm expecting this could be another repeat.
Will we get a blowout? Let's get into game and find out. See if any of you guys at home get your FP nice and early in the European set of the day. Don't forget, we've still got North America to come later on. As we tune in, Rival have already gone very deep into Energy's jungle here, Toli. Got a ward down at the speed and the back harpies on the right-hand side of the map, just to keep vision of, well, basically, what Adaption's going to do.
What's the start from this Serqet? Does he have Blink? Does he have beads? Are we going to be able to play aggressive, or do we have to play defensively? Those are the questions that Rival are asking themselves once they see Adapting's build. They notice he also went for the Boots one, not going to go for the Katana or the Maze Tree.
And that's to do with sustain more than anything else. Those extra potions are so important. You can go for the Maze Tree if you want to, but you're going to have a little bit less in terms of extraness to the, in terms of sustain in the jungle if you need it. So we'll see how this works out. Callisto on the Khepri. What a god to give Chernobog alongside him. The hug bug of bugs.
Yeah, why not, right? Give him more shields. The boxing god, Vote trying to make it happen and deal the damage.
Could box that.
Rival are not interested in clearing the wave as they use their abilities to poke out emilitoo, already half health.
I noticed the shields coming up from Callus as well on the Khepri. That's what they're doing. They're playing around the passive from Khepri early, going for boxing matches, knowing that they'll win it because, you know, the shield protects some of it, but it gives energy lane advantage, and the purple buff will be stripped away.
They do have the jungle advantage, but it's going to be Rival hitting the wave first. If they went up a little bit more north, which they're doing now, Energy not interested with the wave because of the positioning from Rival, grab the second purple buff, and once they clear up this wave, that's when the huge boost of experience out of Energy is going to take into effect.
Talking about boost of experience at the moment, Adaption is a little bit further ahead than iceicebaby. Iceice has already taken down Adaption's already taken down the Harpies, as well as the blue buff and the right-hand Harpies, whereas iceicebaby only got his backs, from what I could tell. Maybe the blue after the fact if he was lucky.
Look at all that damage onto Yammyn, and it's always funny watching iceicebaby switch up his god pool every now and then just to see how he plays it as an Athena guardian. He's just walking up to Adapting, constantly stabbing him with a javelin, and Adapting's not interested. He knows that it's all about clearing the waves, clearing those jungle camps. Difficult to really mess with the Deathbane damage.
We mentioned those two wards that Rival placed down early, and you can see them looking to abuse them in the jungle right now. Those wards came from the Oracle's Chalice from Callus here. He started this off with the Guardian's Blessing, no additional movement speed from the boots. It does mean you can only get health potions, but you don't need to use too much mana on a support these days in the early phase. You should be okay with the Guardian's Blessing and your boots.
Right-sided iceicebaby gonna share some experience with Deathwalker that just now hits level 3. maniaKK is gonna be able to solo farm this whole entire wave. He should hit level 4 off this, and the Cerberus is gonna have a good time against the warrior Chulainn, which is not always the case. Normally, a lot of these Guardians struggle at the beginning, but maniaKK just one step ahead of DW.
At the moment in the mid lane as well, you can see the both went for the blessings to begin with, although Wlfy going for the ring build. We've seen a couple of times out of him. The Shaman's Ring is definitely available for him, but for now, it'll be fully into the boots. Speed buffs have respawned, and the jungler's working on those. That'll hit them up to level 4 once they have those online.
emilZy looking for those raw pulls right through that tier 1 tower. Callus not really in position. He knows and understands it too. He likes his Sylvanus every now and then. And with this one level advantage, Energy are just unrelenting.
Oh, but Wlfy's level 5 and the Kraken's there! The tree will fall in the left-hand side, but the kill goes to Callus. Not really the target you'd want to in that situation whatsoever.
The tree fell and the whole entire world heard it. As the first blood credit actually goes to Callus, unfortunately, for Rival. Normally you would want it to go on someone else, but you can't always control that damage over time from the Rising Dawn.
I like the little snipe up from Yammyn there in the jungle just to pick up that camp before he goes back to base and just stays in the mid lane away from the action. At the moment, though, just sat under the tower, Yammyn. He's trying to just hide himself, I guess, more than anything else, and wait for this next minion wave to go in and make sure they push out mid lane. But first kill again, the way of Rival. They're starting off the same sort of way they did in game 1.
That's very true. It's just a good idea to bully out a Sylvanus that doesn't have any sort of movement. You're really relying on his blinks to make the impact, which is something that emilZy could do once he hits level 12, unless for whatever reason he decides to go for a different relic, and that's where Rival can still look to abuse the Sylvanus.
A little bit scary to see a Khepri getting played totally, especially when he's going to get buffed tomorrow in the next patch that's about to be released, or it should be tomorrow.
I don't think Khepri was ever in a bad spot. I just think that he's in an unpopular situation.
He's fat. That's his issue. He's just a big old model, and you get stuck in the jungle. There's not a whole lot you can do about it.
You're right. He is fat. He's PHAT. He's dope.
He is dope. I would say he's fire. There's another way of describing fire.
No, there's no other way except dope.
Yeah, dope. That's him, at least with the skin too. Both at level 4 down this left-hand side, but right-hand side, adapting, making a rotation on the Serqet to pay a visit towards Deathwalker here. Deathwalker, though, just hanging back. He's well aware of what maniaK's up to, quite clearly. Happy to get a bit of free rage for no additional damage.
Deathwalker a little bit too seasoned and veteran, even jumping over the Stygian Torment. He's like thinking to himself, all right, maniaK doesn't normally play like this unless there's some other action happening, because there could be another rotation from iceicebaby. And if maniaK is disrespecting the Athena global pressure, that means that he has something up his sleeve.
Well, aggression from emilitoo there, but now emilitoo's in trouble, because as soon as that happens, you'll see the ult come out from iceicebaby. emilitoo does get away. emilZy has to ult defensively, but now Emil's used everything. He's got his beads available. No, they've been consumed as well.
Look at the Kraken.
And Wlfy's there! Kraken splits the difference. Straight rubber ducky to the tree's head.
Adapting is right around the corner. Callus intercepts both of the Cobra's kiss, and now Adapting has to find a different target.
No snipe going to connect there from Yammyn whatsoever. Callus survives.
Wow.
Still had his ultimate available too. But that rotation from Wlfy paid dividends.
Yes,
for
it
Rival.
did. Wow. Just really abusing the fact that emilitoo tried to play that aggressive. iceicebaby forced to use the beads here, trying to run away. Actually, he's going to turn around, look for a double taunt, because the global ultimate out of Vote.
Not so sure about Vote going in there, but he got away with murder a little bit. Got to watch these Chernobogs as the games go on, because there'll be one or two of them that end up in very tricky predicaments if they continue just to ult in randomly.
I can't wait to see iceicebaby and Vote gank maniaK on the right side of the map. Sitting at level 8, the Cerberus, not that tanky yet, doesn't even have the Evolved Warrior's Blessing for the 15 protections. maniaK being super annoying, absorbing 2 tower shots, trying to stop the back from Deathwalker, but just did not have the range.
And I do like, Tolly, the fact that Chernobog does use that ultimate defensively, like apply the slow that's going to help out his teammates, make the enemy team panic a little bit about, oh, are they going to go aggressive on me? But you don't have to teleport to it. You can just, you know, reset yourself once again.
It's true. It's very important to use it defensive. Know your strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. We've seen ROMs use their ultimates defensively. Same idea, where Vote can go into the sky and just stand there. Doesn't have to go onto anybody, because you are forced to use your ultimate on a target, on an enemy target, but you can just stand there as well and let it fizzle. Same way dodge E.
Yep, same way. You won't get the benefits, however, when you do land again if you don't jump to one of those shadow clones in the jungle, but you still get plenty of time in the air. Rival got the oracles just then, and I think they will probably look back at the game tape and go, curses, we probably could have committed to Gold Fury, because nobody from Energy really responded.
That's true, but if you don't have the intel, it's better safe than sorry. Sure. emilitoo cannot win this boxing exchange, and with all that health removed from him, he might be in a spot where Vote, if he had his ultimate, would have looked for a tower dive, knowing that Callus has the Scarab's Blessing.
And they can still play around that anyway, Tully. Vote could dive the tower now and Callus could support, but they've got to be careful about rotations from emilZy and Yammyn, who are currently trying to defend the red buff, but the red is already being secured by Rival. Snipe did not connect with the red buff there. It was leashed and reset, which means Rival steal it away, and it costs Yammyn his ultimate.
That was a good reset from Rival. Callus never hits the red buff, so him being right beside the red buff, it's more of a bait tactic than anything else. It was up to Vote to reset it, trusting that his support would not tag it and have any sort of impact for the Searing Pain to steal it away.
Cheeky steal attempts as well out from emilZy there, but some aggression as emilZy gonna go in with the ultimate and gets Kraken in response. Being used by Adapting, the pick is for iceicebaby, but Adapting changes his mind. Now maniaK on the rotation too to join that of Deathwalker, who's slowly making the rotation, but it's too much of nothing. Maybe a red buff invade.
Energy want to commit to this red buff invade. How dare you steal our red buff? We're going to steal away yours. But Energy not bold enough to pick that up. They're afraid of getting surrounded by Deathwalker's rotation.
Interesting to see item choices as well as this game goes on. Solo laners, maniaK gone for the breastplate of Valor, whereas the Ancile for Deathwalker this game. But not only that, iceicebaby in the jungle. Looks like that's going to be a Stone of Binding, Tolly, which is a great item. The problem is it's not going to give you too much in the way of defenses, so Athena's going to be a little bit squishy in this early stage.
A little squishier, but every single time you dash as an Athena, you get some of those block stacks, being able to absorb some basic attacks from Adapting. Not a bad idea when he's trying to apply those poisons and then pop it. Now, the item choices for these solo laners, maniaK's is very standard, but because Deathwalker is relying on Mage as his Rage as an energy source as opposed to mana, There's no reason for him to go for the Genji's guard that most physical soul laners will do when they're tasked against a magical source. So he opts for the Oncule, getting more power, getting the opportunity to disrupt any sort of follow-up from Yammyn, who, as a raw player, you're really looking to do like your 2-1 combo. You pop the 2 for the extra damage, and then you get the 1 off.
And with that, when the 2 does pop, I mean, Deathwalker's going to silence him if he's on top of him anyway at that point in time. Plus, EmilZy will pop it with the Wisps a lot of the times too when Deathwalker jumps in. Rival, take the red buff and fall back to Oracle.
So, and that's why Deathwalker also goes for the sprint as opposed to maniaKK going for the teleport. That slow from Yammyn, going to be difficult to handle, needs that defensive relic.
emilitoo, you lucky little man. He was just going no man's land for a second there, but actually it's pressure now for energy as a 4-man rotation's on its way.
Oh, they're committing, or they were thinking about committing, but it's so difficult to kill a Khepri, man. That Scarab's blessing. It's that in itself buys you about 3 extra seconds for the rest of Rival to make the impact. And with the global pressure from Vote and iceicebaby, yes, Energy has the numbers currently, but that could quickly shift in Rival's favor.
Very much about second-guessing themselves there, totally. It's not the energy I've seen before where they would just commit, you know? They'd see a character and just go, let's kill him. That was a case where they could have done that, but they played it respectfully to the team that Rival is.
If emilitoo uses eUnited about half a second earlier, it would have intercepted the abduct from Callus, and that would have put him in a really awkward spot.
Well, Vote now got his Devourer's Gauntlets online finally. As you can see, emilitoo started investing into his a little bit earlier, and that's why he's going to be 50 stacks up at this stage of the game. Those stacks are important now.
That's huge. That is really huge. 50 stacks? That is nothing to scoff at. You're looking at about 9 waves of differentials. And with 9 waves, you're looking at about...
He's in the jungle. The damage is out. Snipe available. But the juke was good from Wlfy. He chose the right way. In the jungle, maniaKK may need to choose the right way away from the danger, but Adapting was flanking around the back towards the speed. Speed buff available for Adapting to steal, but iceicebaby's there to help contest.
Trying to make something happen on the enemy speed buff. Adapting will actually secure that one with the Deathbane. Trying to run away, though. This level 9 Serqet has some allies. EmilZy and Yammyn making the impact.
Vote was thinking about it for a second. He was thinking about jumping through with that living nightmare, but he won't this time. Instead, ends up coming back towards the lane. Speedbuff stolen away, as we said, from energy, and that just evens up the score a little bit closer once more. It's a little bit of a lead still for Rival. Around 800 gold, 800 experience. It's not that much at 12 minutes in.
That was the risk versus reward heavily favoring energy, because the Deathbane damage is just significantly higher than only half of a shield wall. So that's where the DPS matters. The damage of both hits of the shield wall is going to heavily outweigh Deathbane, but you don't need to wait for that second hit.
Well, here we go. Rival going to commit to the Gold Fury. EmilZy's the only one nearby that can even stop this. Too little, too late. Rival take the Gold Fury. They did it the first time.
That's true. They did it the first time. It was around the 16.5-minute mark, 4 minutes earlier than game 1.
Is under pressure. He's going to have to ult himself. Yammyn snipe was beautiful. emilitoo credit with a kill, but meanwhile in the jungle, Wlfy, who had to use relics earlier, ends up falling down too. iceicebaby getting body blocked away as the army of energy march on, but they're getting low in health here. They've got to be careful.
They are low, but it's iceicebaby that falls, making it a 3rd Rival victim. They just couldn't disengage from energy's clutches. Too much AoE damage. maniaKK, a little frisky here. He understands that one paralyzing spit will take out Vote, and this also buys time to stop him from backing, allowing energy to maybe go for the Pyromancer.
Deathwalker is the only one around this right-hand side that can try and contest this. A couple of members of Rival were low, of energy were low, but the sustain from the Yammyn's Raw will top them back up. Adapting on zone duty, and with that, Gold Fury at the end of the day went to Rival. They lost 3 lives for it, and energy get a Pyromancer.
But despite getting the Gold Fury versus Pyromancer, you have to evaluate what else you lost in the process. Those 3 lives from Rival cost a lot of farming opportunity. emilitoo, with 2 kills and an assist, has a 2-level lead over Vote's Chernobog that doesn't have that much presence in game 2 compared to how he played in game number 1. No global ultimates being used in the solo lane.
Does the Devour's Gauntlets being fully stacked make a difference in that engagement?
Yes, it absolutely does, because Vote can't really stay and fight in the thick of things. emilitoo was so brave in that last team fight. He used his dash offensively. He used that mounted archery offensively, trying to make something happen, and it forced the Scarab's Blessing from Callus. Wlfy was in no man's land. He couldn't disengage from the slow because Callus also used the ultimate on himself to save his own life as opposed to his mid-mage. And that was Energy's fight to win. Those differential stacks, I was talking about how like 54 stacks is the equivalent of 9 waves. That's 4.5 minutes of farming.
And at that stage, it was kind of awkward then around the Gold Fury fight. emilitoo, though, definitely playing up just lately. We spoke about him on the eSports Weekly this week, saying that Spring, he was kind of lackluster. He was kind of not in the prime eye of a lot of fans, but now he's starting to find himself again. Taco mentioned that Hunters in general were doing that, but some definitely still stood out more than others in the Spring split.
That's true. Vote likes to play aggressive, so whenever you give him a god such as Uller, potentially, he's going to pop off, and Chernobog has some offensive capabilities if he's left open.
emilZy's going to be a little bit careful here. He went for a pull on Wlfy. However, Yammyn's there for some follow-up. The focus, though, was on the red buff and Vote, who jumps in the wall for safety. Had to beads, though, and now adapting under some pressure, but turns it around.
Kraken comes through, but it doesn't hit in the center. Adapting walks away, knock up onto Callus. He's going to take a lot of damage for himself. Using the Scarab's Blessing, revives, then goes down right away.
And that's the problem with the bug. If you get stuck as a big model, it can cause you some problems of escape. Now Energy, group up, get a tier 1 tower. Tier 2 could be on the cards as well. A couple of minions in tow and a Ra. Deathwalker, the only one here to defend. Wlfy on the way back as well, but no Kraken available.
Trying to make something happen is emilitoo going in aggressively onto Wlfy. Forces out the Aegis. It's up to Deathwalker to hold onto his tier 2 tower. Uses the Warcry. He takes out Yammyn.
He does manage to find a 5v1, and in comes iceicebaby. Aegis will save the life of emilitoo, but only for a moment's notice. It's 2 kills for the solo lane Deathwalker, and he's hunting down emilZy.
He's trying to burn the tree with this Vented of Anger. He's gonna get rooted by Callus that has revived, and Energy are the ones that overstep their boundaries. Rival have the whole map as their oyster.
Could they go Fire Giant here?
Absolutely, Hindu man. It's only maniaKK on the right side, adapting, coming back from base with Winged Blade and also the Blink. Has a lot of mobility. No last breath, however. It's up to maniaKK to hit a very crucial Stygian Torment.
But that last breath's up very soon. maniaKK taking a lot of damage from the Whirlpool already. He juggles them all in the air to pull him off the Fire Giant and disengages. Fire Giant still leashed though and dropping below 50%. Adapting's turn to go in.
Adapting is spotted. Kraken comes through, forces Death Pain to avoid all the damage. Trying to make something happen. He blinks in. He finds Vote with the last breath, but he gets eliminated. Rival secure the FG.
But Yammyn is back and snipes out Callus. Iceice, Deathwalker and Vote trying to get away now. Limited mobility options on Vote as he does use the dash just to get back through the wall. Fire Giant round 4 members waste. Rival will not be upset with that, Tolly.
No, definitely not. Only losing your support to grab the Fire Giant and also take out Adapting at the same time. Check. Going for Rival. Sitting with a tied lead gold-wise, but experience is about to turn on its head if Rival can collectively group up successfully with some more towers.
And yeah, if you think about that, just 3 tier 1 towers and a Gold Fury, and you're going to be in a great position as Rival, unless iceice gets caught in the jungle, which he did. His ultimate's available though, so he'll be okay to fall back to base for the moment. It wasn't actually going towards that Stone of Binding I expected. It was the Void Stone.
Oh, wow.
Which I've seen a little bit more of. Obviously, that made more sense now. I just saw the initial item and went, maybe Stone of Binding.
Not a bad idea to go either one, but more worried about the damage from maniaKK and Yammyn in these team fights. It's a lot of penetration that maniaKK has between the Ghastly Breath, between also his own version of the Void Stone. You're getting 57 penetration if you're maniaKK and applying all 3 ticks of the Ghastly Breath coupled with that item.
2 of the best teams in Europe going head-to-head. Even Stevens yet again, 6-6. Game 1 was a slugfest between the 2 that came down to... That's what it's at this level now, Tolly, between these 2 is like just individual plays, small mistakes, small well, not just mistakes, but aggressive plays that work out well.
Trying to make something happen. Vote gets pulled in. He dashes away. The Kraken comes out. emilZy gets knocked up. He's taken out. 5-on-4 for Rival. Blinking in. Gonna be maniaKK.
But Vote's in the sky, already down to about 10% health, and he can only come back down towards adapting. Gets the ultimate out from Kalisto and is on the run. Adapting gets bursted as he was jumping in for Vote. Now, though, it's a 1-2 for 0 exchange.
iceicebaby on the back line. Yammyn forced to use the Jaegers, trying to get something going. This Deathwalker, but he turns around. The call was to reset onto maniaKK. Dashes in. Deathwalker wants to clean up his solo lane opposition.
So it's going to be a tier 1 tower and probably a tier 2 for Rival. Wlfy's also looming at the moment, so it wouldn't be a surprise to see tier 1, tier 2 and Wlfy. Adapting's up in 15 seconds and has his ultimate available. A couple of members of Rival a little bit worse for wear in terms of health or mana, so definitely a Wlfy call here. Just a quick pick up of that tier 1 tower in mid lane, and we've done a good job so far in the first so of having the fire giant.
Still around their waist for another minute and 20 seconds. This has been a successful push thus far. The tier 2 tower getting themselves the second Wlfy. The question remains, how can they disengage from this, because they don't have that much mana to play with. Vote and Wlfy very low in the resource department.
That red buff caused more problems than the engagement of the tier 1 tower, I would say. But they will head back to base now. Pyromancer up, so Energy going to have to just default to taking that where they can, making sure Rival doesn't get any more bonus gold around their waist. That tier 2 tower on the right-hand side, though, is taking a lot of damage for free.
It's a lot of archers.
Favor of Energy there.
And there's going to be even an additional wave coming right down at Rival. Don't seem to worry too much. They think the tier 2 tower is going to hold its own, and it definitely will, but Energy can easily sneeze at that tower if they really wanted to look for a split push potential.
So what's going wrong so far then? Because Rival, after the fire giant, Rival engaged and Energy just couldn't really do anything there, Tony.
It was after the tier 2 tower attempt. They went past the tier 2 tower. They tried to take out Wlfy. Wlfy uses Aegis, being able to buy himself a moment. Deathwalker popped off with the Defender of Olympus on top of himself when he was transformed at Vent Anger, giving him 5% additional movement speed, more passive damage over time with the pulsing Vent Anger, and that's what turned it on its head. It was just the combination of Deathwalker, iceicebaby. Callus, he died earlier, but because he was so low level, he respawned, being able to make himself an impact.
And Callus's job in this fight is to just make sure he consistently slows down the mobile targets. Abduct is a great ability just because it silences, but it does make you susceptible to a lot of burst damage. The main thing is, therefore, though, is peel, 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 peel.
That's true. The Scarab's Blessing was...
And a revive.
It was so crucial. It was so crucial during that dual lane siege when there was a lot of attention. Energy wanted to take out Vote. Vote had to use his own ultimate defensively. And even if you don't pop the resurrection bubble from Scarab's Blessing, you're still getting that movement speed to reposition yourself.
Fire Giant about to spawn, 14 seconds out. Iceice's going to go in for the taunt on maniaKK, who avoids it for now. It's just a grouping up of 2 teams. I will say Energy have a little bit better in terms of secure, I would say, at the stage of the game.
Sure.
On this Fire Giant, just because they have Ra.
Definitely agree with you there, Hindu Man. Now, I think it's interesting to see different players play the same gods. This time, iceicebaby playing the Athena as opposed to Callus, and then maniaKK playing Cerberus instead of emilZy compared to in game number 1.
And so they both just switched it around a little bit, expecting the other. The good news is, though, is having the ability to be able to do that between your characters and your players is such a huge thing. Having Athena be able to be jungled, soloed, or supported in all stages. So the sort of caliber you need at the SPL level, be able to play pretty much everything that's presented to you.
Rival barely with the lead, but they're feeling confident to take this offensive stance. They're waiting for Energy to drop their ward so they can sentry, counter, look for any sort of pick. iceicebaby goes in!
He gets a blink and turn off, and Yammyn returns with a snipe. The Kraken at the back was on maniaKK, not the greatest target in the world, but adapting in amongst the pigeons, has to disengage and use his beads. But Deathwalker's got them all grouped up together, and with one raging shout, he brings down the chicken. In goes iceicebaby again, but he can't find a taunt, and now he's left maniaKK exposed on his own at the tier 2 tower.
The abduct onto maniaKK, second dead Energy member. Rival call off the siege. They're going for the Fire Giant. Great attempt from emilZy, and great separation from iceicebaby. Not going to get pulled under themselves, and the second Fire Giant for Rival. Not going to be the enhanced one because it doesn't spawn after 25 minutes, but still a good enough push attempt to get themselves an additional 3,000 gold between those two tier 2 towers.
I think the hardest thing about that fight from Energy's point of view, Tolly, was Adapting was just trying to find the prime target. And the problem was there was too much traffic going on that he got caught in amongst it, had to disengage.
Couldn't isolate anyone from the team fight, and the Serqet that can't zigzag onto one individual target, difficult. There was too much shielding out of Callus. Not only is this passive, but also just the relic in general being used, keeps everyone topped off nice and pretty. Wlfy with a little bit of extra help from the Gem of Isolation. Keep in mind the Whirlpool slowing people down consistently. Everyone from Energy was grouped up on top of Deathwalker, and there was a Whirlpool right there waiting.
And don't be surprised as well to mention the Cursed Ankh as well on Callus, because he's got that upgraded. It's going to increase the amount of damage done to the targets that heal. And if you look at that composition, there's plenty of healers in it. And emilZy's going to heal the whole team with Wisps. One good pop of that from a professional player like Callus.
Oh, yeah.
And that team's taking 20% damage the whole fight.
Definitely going to be something to watch out for if you're not careful. Energy, they want to obviously heal anytime that they can between both emilZy and Yammyn. emilZy with the Lotus Crown for additional protections. Yammyn with the Rod of Asclepius trying to boost some of those healing numbers. So a great counter pick from Callus, trying to go for that Cursed Ankh. And now it's upgraded. Before it wasn't.
I think it was.
Oh, in the last team fight?
Yeah,
okay.
For the last one. It should have been, but it doesn't really matter. Gold Fury goes the way of Rival here. And I'm looking at Energy's comp on defense. It's got decent enough clear, but I do notice one thing in these fights, Tolly. It's kind of how Energy have to play them. They've relied on either emilZy blinking in or maniaKK blinking in to go aggressive or adapting. The problem is that two of them are really awkward, I'd say. The emilZy one's fine with Sylvanus, you know, the Wrath of Terror is great. But adapted and maniaKK being the aggressors, I think they've got to wait for emilZy to be the engager for them. They can't have emilZy sit back. It's not working for them. He's going to be the man that goes in and tries to set up for this team.
I think Rival are just too beefy for Energy to handle currently.
That's true.
That's why Adapting is now going for the Titan's Bane, trying to get as much penetration available, wanting to cut through some of those physical defenses, receiving a little bit of a buff on the higher end scale, getting that 40% penetration at 200 armor as opposed to 175. You're looking at a net gain of about 10 extra penetration.
Well, all the tier 2 towers are now down. It's just Phoenix's remaining for Energy to try and defend. Defense isn't terrible from them, though. We've noticed that before. We'll find out what happens on this one. With that back in the face of Sylvanus, though, is a bit of a window there for a couple of poke shots.
Double taunt, iCeicebaby does a lot of setup. maniaKK barely able to jump away. If a Kraken was committed, maniaKK was dead to rights.
But they hold and instead force him back. emilZy's forced to blink in and ult. He gets Kraken in the face and stuck in the whirlpool of death. Adapting now in, gets the Ancile off, but took a lot more damage to bargain for. Meanwhile, Deathwalker was taking up the whole squad.
Oh, the revive from the Hug Bug, trying to make it happen. It's a 5-on-4 for Rival as they take out the middle. Phoenix not confident to go for the end quite yet. They're looking for round 2 on the right side, Phoenix.
Patience from Rival then, not trying to end. 4 members of the Energy still alive. Adapting has his ultimate, and Adapting's going to go in, but Vote has already taken out maniaKK. Deathwalker will fall down here if the bleeds go through. The poison did spread, I believe, towards Wlfy, but he's not going to fall down yet. Aegis used, Phoenix down.
He was worried about the Celestial being Yammyn using an Aegis for himself, Adapting, waiting for the opportunity. He doesn't have Blink. If he commits, he's in a lot of trouble.
He commits and gets abducted, and Vote gets a kill. emilitoo gets trapped in the whirlpool. Aegis, no beads available. Does dash away in time, but into the sky goes Vote, looking for the kill.
He wants it. He wants it so badly. He zones away Yammyn, emilitoo. No one else to follow up off of Energy's Hunter. Rival, they got what they came for, and they're going to try to disengage.
That was kind of Energy just trying to make something happen towards the end of the fight and maybe find a pick that could turn this around. Because if Rival escape here, Tolly, Steve Phoenix is down. The next Fire Giant's pretty much uncontested. And it's on to the final Phoenix, but there's a fight still in the jungle.
emilZy gets taunted into the Whirlpool. Wrath of Terror being used. Yammyn with a huge ultimate, but Wlfy answers back.
Yeah, emilitoo did manage to find a kill onto Wlfy there. Deathwalker now respawns. Callus a little bit too deep. Going to eat a lot of free damage. Vote's there for zone more than anything else. But in comes iceicebaby as emilitoo rounds the corner on his horse.
The taunt. There's no beads. emilitoo trying to be the hero that Energy needs and might have just
overstepped a little bit too much. Fire Giant respawning in 10 seconds, but that's a 40-second differential between FG respawn and emilitoo respawning.
I am okay with it. I am really okay with them trying to go aggressive when you've got 2 Phoenixes down, because what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? Sit in your Phoenix room? Sit in your fighting room and just go, okay, we've got 1 Phoenix to defend and 2 firemen in ways. We can't really win from this stage. We've got to do something.
I don't mind the chase down, but I do mind using the mounted archery when it's not guaranteed quite yet. At the SPL level, every like 5 to 10% damage interval has to be calculated when you're using the ultimate. It's like, okay, I could deal 5 additional % damage on this beefy, tanky target. Now, if I use my mounted archery for the distance, I know I can't get out. Is this worth it? Not too much for emilitoo this time around.
Well, it's looking very much like we're going to see a game 3 today between Rival and Energy. Energy took the first one, as you were saying, Totally, you know, against Rival at the start of this year.
Yep.
Well, at the start of the split, I should say. But now Rival fighting back into it here. They're going to even things up as long as things continue on the path we've got so far.
It seems Rival has found the answer in game 2. Still can't count the chickens before they hatch, but the tanky targets that Rival have is so difficult for adapting Serqet to be useful. It was Serqet and Cerberus first pick for Energy in game number 2. And immediately after, Athena, Chulainn, Khepri trying to fight fire with fire. If you don't have any executes available, then this Khepri reigns supreme.
Definitely is the tankiness of Rival that has caused Energy an issue more than anything else, I would say. Especially with the Serqet in the jungle not being able to really find too much form. The tanks themselves, it's just not been enough of a window to get the damage out to kill them.
And the funny thing is, Sylvanus was last picked for Energy. They could have put Cerberus on emilZy and last pick Achilles for maniaKK to have the execute, to be able to at least deal a little bit with the Scarab's Blessing.
I can see that the execute might have been quite useful, because one thing a lot of people remember about Khepri, about it doesn't work for executes, but we just don't see him so often.
And that's just a hard counter. When he was first introduced, everyone played Thanatos or Ao Kuang, trying to make something happen, but Achilles, that's going to be that third execute that you can really consider now.
I do think, though, that the reason they picked that Sylvanus was for better lane pressure against Callus and Vote in the early stages.
That's true. They did get a couple of invades off. They secured Rival's purple. They ignored the additional wave, went back to their own. So they had the lane pressure to get level 3. But remember what Energy did with their level 3 versus 2 advantage? They hugged the tower line from Rival. Wlfy's rotation at level 5 got the first blood onto emilZy Sylvanus.
So 15-8 then, and we've got the Fire Giant around Rival's waist. The only left on Phoenix that's not been killed just yet. Both Phoenixes of Energies have respawned, though, the middle and the right-hand side. They're weakened, but they won't be producing more fire minions for the time being. Just one more wave or so coming down the lanes for those. But the full focus from Rival at the moment is on the left.
Trying to defend his NRG, and emilZy buying himself the Emperor's armor, amplifying the attack speed of the Phoenixes. Rival trying to get something going. Nice little route, but no follow-up. Rival, very calculated.
All about Magi's burning. That's what this is about. The tongue goes in on maniaKK and emilZy. They both get hit by a Kraken. And Aptin goes to the back, but couldn't find a single kill as the 2 tanks are already dead. It's Squishies remaining, and the Squishies are running away from the tanks of Rival.
The last breath defensively is not a good look for your jungler, as Adapting is forced to heal up in his own fountain. Middle Phoenix falls. Rival going to the right side just to secure every check mark off the box and secure themselves game number 2 to try to get to game 3.
Definitely an interesting game between these two, an interesting set, and we're going to get to see a game 3 unless the unthinkable happens. Yammyn, the only one with an ultimate available, and if you can find a snipe that kills them all, that'll be a dream, but that one won't, and that will be the end of the game. The Titan will fall.
Goes down. iceicebaby made a huge impact with these blink taunts. The Athena jungle just stretching the god pools for all of Rival.
Do you think it was the Athena that was the biggest point of that? Because I was looking at, like, I think Deathwalker had a very good game too. You've also got Vote that didn't die in that game as well.
That's
on the
true. The zoning from Deathwalker's Chulainn was key for them to come back into the game. Once Energy overstepped from that tier 2 tower siege, Deathwalker and iceicebaby pulled it back in for Rival. But then those blink taunts, that last Phoenix siege setting up a double Kraken, that's the dream for Wlfy.
It's true. Who do you guys at home think was MVP for that game? Rival obviously wins, so they get the MVP vote from one of them. But now we go into a game 3, Tolly. It's all squared up, and do the last two games really matter?
I think Energy, they need to find an answer to iceicebaby this time around. The Mercury didn't really do it for him in game 1, but I think he's going to go back to a more utility setup, man. The Energy need to disconnect iceicebaby from Wlfy's connections.
So that was the biggest issue, was iceicebaby.
iceicebaby setting up Wlfy, yes.
All right, well, let's find out what the desk has to say as we get ourselves ready for game 3.
Thanks a lot, friends. Fantastic stuff today. Like you said, Game 2 already cut through, and this one a little bit different than Game 1. Game 1 back and forth. This was just a Rival took it to the brickyard.
That looked like it towards the back end, but don't forget, I mean, Rival, they had that great start. Wlfy gets a couple Krakens in duo lane. Everything's looking good over there. But then Energy started to come back. That Gold Fury fight where Rival looks a little just on different pages. Kalas plucks someone in after trying to do Gold Fury. The rest of Rival's on the retreat. They lost 3 members there. That gave control to Energy for a little bit. But you heard the caster just allude to it at the end there. That siege and speed buff invade by Energy at the end of that little skirmish near the tier 2 tower. Rival, mostly Deathwalker, shows up and has a great fight there. Deathwalker turns the course of the game with help from iceicebaby, and from there it was pretty smooth sailing.
Good damage coming out from the Ra, respectable at the 17K. I'm looking at the healing numbers though. 7,000, is that enough?
It's not great, but it's not awful. I mean, it's still taking a big edge off of what iceicebaby's damage is. It's cutting his damage in half, but usually expect at least a little bit more healing, I'd say. It's just that these fights were usually over very, very quickly, one way or the other. Either Yammyn was hitting a big snipe or Deathwalker was just obliterating the backline so quickly the healing was never relevant.
Deathwalker coming through with the Thorns as well. 5, 1, and 7 for the most valuable player here in the solo lane. And just great itemization. I pointed out the Thorns against the Serqet. I think people kind of forget about return damage versus Serqet. She can't control it. It's true damage. It's just really, really clean. And I mean, at the end of the day, itemization, I can talk about it all day, but at the end of the day, he just hit him with the head slam.
Chulainn still does not have a head slam.
He's got the head slam.
Deathwalker definitely slammed Energy right there. It's that tier 2 tower. He doesn't have a head slam.
He does the...
He does. Okay, for those of you who are not like acquainted with this bit that Tom is doing.
It's not a bit.
Tom thinks that Chulainn does a head slam during his transformed auto attack transformation. We literally broke it down frame by frame from a video. Shout outs to FinalK's YouTube. That's where I found it.
Nope.
He just did it. He doesn't do a head slam. I just don't know what to tell you.
1, 2, the head slam.
He does a 360 like thing.
I'm going to do a 360 thing to Ryan real quick. Picks and